That was Companion, a movie I was made aware of just via its trailers. No reading or listening to reviews. In my view, even the trailer for this film gives away way too much. If they'd have left it ambiguous, then the reveal of the central concept would have been glorious. Given this fact that all the trailers and a lot of the publicity give away the main premise, I feel it's okay to talk about it in the review. But this review does contain a spoiler section. In that view, let's carry on. Starring Sophie Thatcher, Jack Quaid, Lucas Gage, Harvey Gillen, Megan Suri, and Rupert Friend, it's directed and written by Drew Hancock. If you clicked on this review without knowing anything about Companion, turn it off, go and see the movie and come back afterwards. But if you've seen the trailers and any of the publicity, then carry on. This movie is something worth talking about, even though you shouldn't. What did I think? I've just been to see Companion. What an interesting movie that was. And also, fun. I mean fun. Who's to say you can't go to the cinema and have a bit of fun? One important factor about this film is the less you know about it, the better. And it's difficult really because I'd say that that's a really important thing. The less you know about this, the better. If you don't know anything about Companion, nothing at all, the concept, anything whatsoever, don't read anything about this, because I think that although I knew what was going to happen, I knew what the basic story was, I absolutely loved it. I mean, I thought it was great. The way it all comes together and the way it unfolds is just amazing. But I can't imagine if I didn't know anything about this film going in to watch it, just kind of on the premise of like, oh, it's a romantic comedy. Well, I'll tell you what, it goes from that, a quirky, fun romantic comedy, to being something else entirely. Wow. All right, so I'm not going to hang around here because, I've paid my ticket. Time to go. Let's see if we can find our way out of this place. And we've reached, finally, the exit. Maybe this, does it keep it? You going to keep this? Yeah? Yeah. Oh, it's kept it. I'd say perfect Friday night thing. It's a perfect Friday night film. First off, immediately, boom, there it is. Perfect Friday night film. It's got that feeling to it. Shit's gonna unfold, and it's gonna unfold with purpose. It's gonna unfold with insanity. It's gonna unfold with violence. What does it remind me of? Before I went in to see it, I was thinking about a more sort of crazy version of Megan. It is a crazier version of Megan. It's got this satirical element to it that is like, it's quite a grubby satirical element to it. It's very cynical in its idea. Its central idea is basically that there are certain types of men in the world that will take that concept and that idea of just having a woman sex bot and control them and all of the kind of things that they wouldn't get away with an actual human woman. Those kind of messages, they are right there. All right, so where do we stand on this film in terms of talking about the story? We'll try and get away with as much as we can without spoiling it. It's really worth not spoiling because it is pretty great. So Sophie Thatcher plays Iris. She's a cool young lady with a boyfriend called Josh, whom she meets at a grocery store. And, the couple, like, they hit it off, basically. There's something going on with oranges or whatever, falling on the floor, whatever it is. That, yeah, all that. We kind of cut to many years later, but they're together, living together, they're in love and all of that kind of thing. But you can see that the relationship that he has with her, he's kind of, the way he comes across, he's a little bit, yeah, you'll do everything for me, darling, won't you, darling? All of that kind of thing. So, the couple, they're going on holiday to, like, a lake house, essentially. They're going on holiday to meet their friends. But Iris is very sort of nervous. She's very worried. She's very uncomfortable with the whole thing. And you can see that, from some of the things that she says. She's saying, like, your friends don't like me. They're not into me at all. And that's where it gets interesting. That's where the whole story kicks off. We kind of see it from her point of view. Those worries are not unfounded because his friends are kind of weird with her. They do treat her differently. They do treat her in that sort of aloof kind of way, or that she shouldn't be there, or she's kind of in the way. So we immediately feel a bit of sympathy for her. She's not odd, she's not strange, she's none of those things. She's just uncomfortable with meeting all of these people. And that's perfectly fine. We've all been there, right? the way that it plays on her character's vulnerabilities is something that's built on throughout the entire film. And then they don't give us the reveal. I mean, I suppose, again, we kind of know about Iris, but they don't sort of reveal it. That's not the opening gambit. When shit gets wild, then we definitely know the score with Iris. So the house is owned by a guy called Sergei. He's a sort of Russian businessman, I guess. Sergei's girlfriend is there. She's called Kat. Kat is obviously a friend of Josh's, and, you know, Sergei is Kat's boyfriend. The other people at the lake house are a couple, Eli and Patrick, and that completes our set of characters for this movie. Picture the scene, which we've had like a million times in films. It's an isolated lake house. Nobody knows where they are. It's in the middle of nowhere. How are we going to make this situation crazy as shit? So we get to a place where blood is here. Iris is covered in blood. Sergei, who isn't very nice. Let's put it that way. She shows up back at the house, covered in blood, and it's like, what the hell happened? And then let's talk a little bit about Josh. He's a cool guy. He's a handsome guy. He's the boyfriend, basically. He's very confident. He's very sure of himself. I just put the light on because it's getting dark. The sun's going down. It's getting dark. It's fine. So he essentially spends most of the start of the film trying to put Iris at ease, because he knows that she does get like this. She does get sort of anxious around people, around new people, around these kind of situations. The way that she dotes on Josh is it starts to get to that point where you think, that's a little bit weird. That's a little bit too much now. It's getting a little bit uncomfortable for us. The movie does this clever thing where you sympathize with Iris, but at the same time you recognize that she's making some mistakes here. She's acting a little bit odd, but it doesn't isolate you from her. It doesn't sort of put a barrier between how you feel about her and who she is. It just kind of makes you think, oh my god, so what else is going on then? There's obviously another layer to this that we don't know about yet. And boy, do we find out what that layer is. So I'm on my way home. As you can see, it's the darkness is setting in. The sun is going down. It's starting to look a lot like the evening time. So let's talk some more about Companion. It solidifies that whole idea that horror films are my favourite genre. And this is a little bit of like horror mixed in with a little bit of science fiction, and mixed in with a little bit of comedy, because it is funny. I mean, it does have a dark, humorous streak to it, this film. And I think that Jack Quaid, who plays Josh, I think most of the funny lines come from him. He's got that charming personality. You know, he's got that kind of, I'm a cool guy, it's all fine, it's okay. Whatever he's doing, however bad he is, doesn't matter, because you kind of buy it because of his personality. And he's got that kind of charmingness about him. The funny lines in this are genuinely laugh out loud funny. It balances the humour and it balances the horror elements really well. Okay, so here's the difficult bit now, is trying to talk about this without giving away too many spoilers, because you really do need to see this and experience it for yourself. The less you know about it, the better. And if you know some stuff about it already, then stop there. Don't learn anything more about this film. Don't even accidentally come across anything, because you'll be rewarded with some great surprises. And not only some great surprises, but also one situation to the other kind of a thing. Let's talk about the way that it's directed and the way that it looks, because it does have a really gorgeous aesthetic to it. You know, that 50s housewife American style. The reason why it has that sort of vibe, certainly in the way that the logo of the film looks, and, you know, the music that's used in it as well, is all that sort of 50s and 60s boppy kind of stuff. I can see exactly why they do that, because that's why earlier on I was talking about the whole American suburban housewife aesthetic. That's in the undercurrent of this. That's what I think Sophie Thatcher's character, Iris, is going for. I think she's going for that sort of suburban housewife, but with a twist. And the twist is Are we all right to say what the twist? And the twist is, she's a robot. She's a robot, and she's programmed to be like that. She's programmed to do anything and everything that Josh wants. She doesn't know that, though, right? This is the thing. She doesn't know that she's a robot. She's no idea that she's an android. And what she's got in the way of her programming, do you know them restrictions that we see in Star Trek? You know, where data cannot harm people or do anything like that. Well, boom, there we go. This is what she's got, the same thing going on. She's programmed to just put up with whatever shit Jack comes out with. You get an android lady housewife person, and you get an app where you can control how she is, how she sounds, how she thinks, the colour of her eyes even. All those things, you know, all of that stuff is programmable by you. You basically are in complete control of your girlfriend in this case. And it's like, how much more of a sort of metaphor for manipulation within relationships do you need to see? You know, how much more obvious does it need to be? If you're not interested in any of that stuff, if you just think, I'll come on, for God's sake, just leave it alone. You can just go and sit there and go, yeah, and shovel popcorn into your face. But you can also sit there and you can also go, oh, that's kind of cool. I can understand the meaning behind that. You know, you can look at it from that perspective as well, because it does quite easily and quite cleverly work on two levels. That's what gave this a little bit more of a, you know, of certainly an emotional impact. This is a what the hell is wrong with me kind of thing, but I did shed a tear during this film. That means that it was working for me. That means that I was on board 100% with Iris's character. She did work on me. I felt emotions for her. I felt that, you know, that her vulnerability. It's horrible to see the way that she's treated because she's a decent person. And that's what made me empathize as much as anything with her character. And you know, that's purely Sophie Thatcher's doing. I mean, she is so good. She is great in this. She is fabulous in this. The last movie I saw her in was Heretic, and I've done a review of Heretic, and you're quite welcome to watch it. If you want, click the link. So let's talk about Josh. Let's talk about his character. He's played by Jack Quaid. He fits into this role perfectly. You know, he's just on the right side of normal for us not to suspect anything bizarre going on with him. But also, his character's quite funny, and some of the things that he says and some of the things that he does, particularly when shit gets wild, is a part of a lot of the charm of this film. So Jack Quaid, he plays Josh, and he plays Josh like you'd expect Jack Quaid to play him. I don't recognise Jack Quaid from much stuff, to be honest with you, but I do know that he's in The Hunger Games, and he's in Logan Lucky, and he's in Scream 4 or 5, I think it's 4, and he's in Oppenheimer also, which is like just phenomenal, isn't it? Obviously, yes, great. He's just perfect in this. The casting director's just done a fabulous job here with this. I mean, all of the people in it are just absolutely like perfect for their roles. Really great. The casting is fab. And Javier Cullen, he's another one of the friends who's there when Josh and Iris arrive. Pardon me for butchering his name, by the way. You're going to recognise him as Guillermo from What We Do in the Shadows. Amazing. And Megan Suri, who plays quite an important role in this film. She's like the friend you don't want to have, basically. But she is, you know, she's the reason why they're all there. She's the reason why they're all visiting the house. That kind of rounds up all the characters in this. There are not many characters in this movie in general, but what they do with these characters is pretty great. I mean, it is. So let's sum this up. Let's sum up Companion. Companion is a great film. It's a great Friday night film. It's a great fun film, but it's also a film where you could delve a bit deeper. You could look a bit deeper into the goings on and the themes behind, you know, what happens in the movie. And that's great. You know, again, why not? Why not do that? Why not have a film that you could just, you know, you can enjoy, and it doesn't need to preach these ideas and these things to you. But at the same time, if you want to find them there, they are right there. And it does that in such a clever way. If you don't get the opportunity to catch it at the cinema, then I think you're missing out. Go and see it on the big screen, because not only does it look great, but seeing it with an audience is something that I think you should do, because there are some laughs in it, some funny lines in it, and also some like WTF moments. So Companion is available everywhere. It's out there now. Go see it. So thank you for watching. This is the Film Podcast. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.